Hello, everybody. Jason up, New Ideas Revolution Cave for a beautiful hot Tuesday here in the NY. It's hot, and we don't have air conditioning until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So we all suffered like divas last night, crying and whining and not being able to sleep. It's the worst. But it's cool down here in the basement. So we're going to take a look at an LJN, part of our favorite series, LJN Revisited. And this will be the first of two videos today. When I say that, I mean it, because I'm actually going to film the second one right after the first one, so I can come through as promised, instead of saying first of two videos and then there's not a second one. You're all left wondering, waiting up all night, sitting in a corner, rocking back and forth, waiting for that second video to come, and it doesn't. I'm sorry about that. LJN's Revisited, folks. We're going to take a look at a figure, well, a figure that I used. I will say that. I used him a bit. I don't remember what I did with him. I think I just, look, you know, it's reasonable to have a Saturday night's main event style show, or even a house show with the LJNs, and you have mid-card matches, right? You have a match that isn't necessarily a part of a feud or anything. It's just, you know, there's no title on the line. It's not a grudge match. It's just a match. And so I would have, you know, Nikolai Volkov versus this fella a lot, because they could both get in a little lumbering offense, and then ultimately, I think Nikolai would win. This is one of the, I guess, one of the more question mark LJNs, because this character was, I think, so short-lived, but hot at the time. It was a hot idea that really had a shelf life of like 6 months. And I don't remember how long this guy was in the WWF before, you know, fading into nothingness. But I do remember the vignettes that announced him. You recall, and I don't know if they still do this, I'm sure they do to some degree, but if you'll recall that one of the highlights of childhood wrestling was not knowing really any inside news, you know, not knowing anything, not reading that so-and-so was on his way to the WWF. And the only way that you would know that so-and-so was on his way to the WWF would be watching wrestling and then being surprised by the vignettes that were in between matches, if they were going to happen. And they didn't happen all the time. But I remember, you know, sitting there watching wrestling, and then, you know, they'd end a match, and then Vince McMahon would say something like, you know, let's take a look at this newcomer. And they would, you know, they would show, you know, like Corporal Kirshner, you know, I remember him swimming in a swamp with a knife in his mouth, and Corporal Kirshner was coming to the WWF. Well, they did this for this fella, Outback Jack. They did the vignettes announcing the coming of Outback Jack, and it came at a time that was hot in America, American pop culture, I suppose, because of Crocodile Dundee. Right? Crocodile Dundee was this popular Australian, you know, I don't know, I don't even know what to call him, like an Australian whatever Crocodile Dundee was. But he came to the U.S. and he had to, you know, adjust, and he was kind of a little bit of a crime fighter. I don't even remember what Crocodile Dundee's about, to be honest with you. Was Crocodile Dundee like a bounty hunter or something? Was he a cop in Australia? I don't remember why he was. I don't remember the point of Crocodile Dundee. But the WWF, of course, took advantage of the Crocodile Dundee boom, the 3-month boom, and created Outback Jack. Outback Jack, who, you know, look, I haven't Wikipedia'd it in a while. I don't know what Outback Jack did before the WWF. I don't know if he was, you know, really just living in Australia. I don't know if he was wrestling in Australia. I don't think he wrestled anywhere else. Like, I don't think he had a stint in Mid-South or something. I don't think so. But the WWF announced that Outback Jack would be coming. Outback Jack showed up, and he, of course, got his little mini push, and then quickly not. Which makes sense because, this gimmick is so short-lived if we're taking advantage of the Australian boom with Crocodile Dundee, which is going to be short-lived. So here he is, Outback Jack. He got an LJN figure made, and that's good enough for me. Visually, this is a fantastic figure. I mean, it's great. The detail, the pants, the boots, the vest, the hat, the toothlessness. We'll take a closer look at that in a minute. The stubbly, hairy chest. I think it's a great figure. It's even got a fantastic play pose. This is a very good LJN play pose. But you're very limited with what you're doing with Outback Jack. And so you got to be creative as a kid, and you got to, make him into something. So the easiest thing to do, aside from the smile, is turn him into a bad guy and just have him be this, angry, evil Crocodile Dundee kind of character. I don't even think I did that. I don't think I did that. I'm pretty sure that I got him from that Toys R Us discount bin that I've talked about before, where I came home with, 5 or 6 figures. And my brain tells me that One Man Gang was a part of that. I know Ken Patera was, and Billy Jack Haynes. So I think it was Billy Jack Haynes, Ken Patera, Outback Jack, One Man Gang, and Slick. I think that was the batch that I got for $4.99 a piece at Toys R Us one day. I really don't have a lot of memories of play of Outback Jack. I think if I were to play today, I'd probably turn him bad and just have him be almost like a sheep herder type of wrestler, the old bushwhacker character. Just the aggressive, I don't know, bushman kind of guy. I don't know how to describe him, but he's smiling. I don't know. Does that matter as a kid? Does it matter really? It doesn't matter. And thanks to Net, we have the Bushwhackers, and I could easily turn the Bushwhackers into bad guys and have him be a part of their faction. I don't know. I kind of want to play LJNs, but good figure, great looking figure. Just a kind of a miss character. It's a character that doesn't hit, doesn't stick. I remember Outback Jack jobbing on TV. He would team with Steve Lombardi, to take on the Dream Team or the Islanders or somebody and lose. Not get the pinfall, of course, but he'd be on the losing team. And so it was over. The only matches I really remember are Outback Jack versus Killer Khan. And I think he was losing those matches at that point too. It's going to be interesting to relive this and see what they do with Outback Jack at a house show or something, where you have to have a little bit of a longer match. They just put him in against Moondog Spot and, they go 4 or 5 minutes. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. But there you go. Outback Jack, I believe, is still with us. I think he had an eye injury. I think he lost an eye at one point, and he was wearing an eye patch, I think. But I'm pretty sure that Outback Jack is still one of the living LJNs. That will be a sad show to do, won't it? All the living LJNs. Here he is, Outback Jack. Let's take a closer look right now. All right, first of all, what's an Outback Jack without a way to stand him on your LJN stand? Well, speaking of LJN stands, you need to get on 4 Left 3D Creations Etsy page and get yourself this Outback Jack custom LJN stand. Make this figure all the better. 4 Left 3D Creations on Etsy, and here he is, Outback Jack. Well, pal, I think we're gonna go with Outback Jack. Here he is. Great looking figure. Honestly, I love the figure. I love the colors. I love the vest. I love the detail. I love the chest hair. I love the play pose. We've got the gap tooth there, or the missing tooth. I think it's a fantastic looking figure. What do you do with Outback Jack? Well, I'm not sure. The hat, tremendous. Tremendous accessory. Is this an Orton hat? Did they actually, where's my Orton? This might be, no, it's not. It's not an Orton hat. This is pinned up too high. Good looking accessory. Hair. Everything's great looking on this figure. It really is. But it's just not, it was just not, you know, at a time, in an era of play. You know, I was a little bit older, and I really wasn't, you know, interested in characters like this at that point in life. You know, the Hillbilly Jims, you know, the Outback Jacks, even the George the Animal Steels. You know, I just wasn't interested in those, and that's why I didn't play with them. But like I said, it's a fantastic figure. It's a fantastic looking figure. And you know, he got some play. I remember, like I said, I remember having Outback Jack and Nikolai Volkov a lot. Just a easy match to have. But there you are. Outback Jack. So up next is a figure that I don't like. Never had him. And then when I did get him as a collector later on, never could play with him. Just an odd figure. Didn't like it. We're going to look at Coco Beware in our next LJN Revisited. Until then, good day, mate. I mean, good night now. Good night now, mate. Is that how you say it? My man, Scott Crusher. Is that how you say it? Good day, mate. Right? Is that how you do it? Good night now.